Come on. Thank you. Welcome back to Demon Slayer Anime Review, episode number 30. Yes, 30. You're thinking, wow, up the back here, we 30. Well, last episode I reviewed was basically, my last review was basically episode 29 for this one. Which, yeah, we got a brand new season here. It's going to be a short season. Yes, one of two I've heard basically this year where it's going to be really short seasons, like shorter than usual. This is reported to be 8 episodes. Yes. For good reason, because the arc itself that this is happening from, the Hashira training arc for Demon Slayer, is only 8 chapters. But the episode itself starts with the epilogue chapter from the Swordsman Village. By the way, when I did the last episode, it was in June of last year, so it's been almost a year since I reviewed anything for Demon Slayer. You're thinking, really? It's been like a year? Yeah. It's been almost a year, exactly 11 months. Well, it took a while for this release, so here we go. This episode is from the final chapter of the Swordsman Village arc, chapter 128. The opening chapter of the Hot Trainer was 129. Pages 1 through 9 of 130, and pages 17 and 21 of chapter 131. Okay. So we start off with the aftermath. I'm surprised also they didn't. This is kind of weird they did this, that they technically did not adapt the epilogue with the final episode of the previous season. Instead, we have to do it this episode. Not sure why, but that's basically how it is here. In a way, they kind of started this arc already, but they only adapted like one full chapter of this arc. That was I think 1/3 was like half the chapter, and the other one was like about 4 pages. Actually, like 5. So we start off with Tanjiro at the Insert Hashira mansion. He's recovering, eating a lot of food, chatting about what happened in the previous arc. And then we see, Zenosuke has returned. And of course, he talks to Nezuko, who calls him Inosuke. He's very unhappy with that. He's very happy to see the little girls. The other girl is there who has a future with Inosuke. I'm not going to say what exactly the future is, but she does have a future with him. And then, of course, he chats with Tanjiro, which, of course, basically he prays a lot of stuff, and then he kind of biting his head. And, of course, Tanjiro thanks him for allowing him to use the maneuver, and he used to be one of the upper ranks. And he's like, put it to move, and then the episode ends basically with, his whole stuff ends with him being, called, they mentioned about the whole thing about training, per se, as with the training video gets at. But that's kind of, in a way, his role in the episode. Meanwhile, though, at the Master's Mansion, the remaining Hashira are still active. Actually, the episode started with a really interesting note here. We have the Wind and the Serpent. The Serpent Hashira, where they're rescuing with 2 lower-ranking demon slayers. Well, they're basically rescuing a kidnapped woman who was kidnapped by a demon. And apparently, this particular castle, which apparently, I think this might be like a real-life castle, but is abandoned. It was set for restoration, but they never actually did anything with it. So, they go inside of the castle. They battle a bunch of demons who basically sword them on them. And on the first floor, on the second floor, more demons. And then they go outside, and then we have more evolved demons. Because these are not human-shaped demons, these are basically regular demons. And they killed them, and then, of course, the air demon basically is like, hey, you want the woman's belly? Here you go. And, of course, she's caught by the Serpent Hashira, and the Wind Hashira chases him. And then they fall off the roof, where they end up basically almost falling into Muzan's Infinite Castle. You're thinking, wait a minute, are they previewing the movie now? Because they did confirm that the Infinite Castle arc, which takes up the last, good chunk of the series, that has been announced for a movie. Indeed it has. That arc is freaking long. Oh my god, this arc is 80 freaking chapters. And it's been announced for a 2-part movie. Now, it just shows the fact that they see it, and then the Infinite Castle disappears. Hitting the ground. And they report back to the Hashiras about basically what happened. The Master can't be attending to their meeting because his illness has gotten worse. And he does not play a role in this arc. He just is here. He does think basically that his woman who's there with it. Of course, they explain what's going on. Mention about the whole stuff happened in the previous arc where There's a mysterious mark of the people who basically nearly drove Muzan to defeat. Tanjiro has it. And of course, none of the Hashiras basically know about this. It looks like the Stone Hashira might be the most senior Hashira, because it seems like he sits like the head of the table with this group. The Water Hashira leaves the meeting after, well, the stand-in basically leaves, because they know she's a stand-in. She's filling in for the master. And they explain they need to do some Hashira training. And all Demon Slayers basically are slated for this. And they do explain about the levels of training. Of course, we see return to the Sound Hashira. First time since the Entertainment District arc, basically, we've seen him. He's there with his 3 smoking hot wives. Training, his is basically all about endurance training. And apparently, the Love Hashira is muscle training. It's basically more like stretch training. I think it was, I'm trying to remember, I think it was either... I think it's Snake Hashi wants to do sword training, and Mist was basically infinite slashing. When is infinite slashing. All about proving technique, and of course the last one was about big muscle training. And Tanjiro's not participating yet. And Inosuke basically, you see him, he jumps to window, breaks, gets scolded for it. Window gets brought up later on, that we do see in the post-credits scene he does get scolded by the Answer Hashira. By the way, Kono comes back. We see her come back from mission. She talks with her master, very briefly. It's a different dialogue from the book, basically, where I think she came back, and the anime have her come back from mission. And then the episode ends with a very interesting note. We see the female doctor Tanjiro met back in season 1, which, of course, everybody's know about this woman. She's been studying a way to reverse demonology. And the episode ends quite an interesting note, where a demon crow shows up, who works for the Demon Corps, asks her to come to the mansion to help them defeat Muzan. I'm like, that is interesting. Now, why in the world was it seen here? This is the final arc. That's the only reason why it's here. Yes, but overall, really good episode. If I can say this is an hour episode, it's 45 minutes. Which makes us like, oh my gosh, like the 3rd season in a row we started Historica and the episode is 45 minutes. I would not be surprised if, in fact, the final episode is also like this as well. Because that's the way it's been for Demon Slayer for the past 3 seasons. Like, Season 2, Entertainment District, opening episode was like 45 minutes. The finale, 45 minutes. Sword Village, opening episode, 45 minutes. I believe like the finale was also 45 minutes. So like they have to begin with like these big premieres for this show. And of course, I get the reason why there's not many episodes. Let's say there was in season 1. The reason why, because the show's inflation has nothing to really do with it per se. It's more like because the arcs are more fantastical that the studio, if Fable, which I believe this is the same studio who makes the Assassin's Creed games, or at least could be a similar name, they have to spend more money on these really good special effects. Like, probably a lot more than they did in the first season, which the first season is probably very reasonable because they weren't as fantastic as they were as of currently. But I do appreciate we're getting the Hosh training. Now, this is the penultimate arc of the entire series, and it is also the second shortest arc of the whole series. Shortest arc is actually opening arc of the series, which I remember was actually about 5 or 6 chapters. This is 8. At least got praise to this arc for this. It's not as long as the previous arc. Oh no, I think last arc was like 40 chapters. This is a lot shorter. I mean, just short breather before we get to the events of the very next season of the show. Yep. Actually, I think this might be the last season they're going to do, because they're going to do a movie, and then that's it for Demon Slayer. Unless they decide to adapt the light novels, because I think Infallible basically let's move on from Demon Slayer at this point in time. And can you believe the first season aired now, like, can you believe it's been 5 years since they aired the opening season of the show? And they've adapted, at this point, most of the manga. And the manga was only concluded 3 years ago. They're like, really? Yes, really. Yep. That's pretty much it, particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit that dislike button. Next to the comment corner, and then it's on to Mashuka Tensai. Okay, next video.